What's up, everybody? It's another Good Brothers Community Podcast right here at Church Hill Smoke Shop. Another Friday night. It's ladies' night. And shout out to my man, my main man, my partner in crime, Mr. P. Powell to the third power, Mr. Preston Powell the third for holding it down. Preston, man, what's going on?
Man, Chad Juice back in the house from Good Brothers Committee
Yeah,
Podcast. And it's a
that's
Friday,
right.
too, so that makes it even better. But I know, Chad, you've been on the road a little bit, exploring
Ooh
the
wee.
nation. I know you just
Ooh.
said a minute ago you haven't even recovered yet. But let
Mm-mm.
everybody know, Good Brothers Committee, I want to burn up the cigar. Today, smoking this Monte Cristo White, the White Series. Nice, good and smooth smoke. You got the Queen of the Hill
I'm about to
nosing on
smoke this
around.
crawfish.
The Queen of Hill has spoken about this crawfish. Now I'm
Hey,
smoking infused from Rap Cigars, downtown Chicago, West Taylor Street. Shout out to Rap Cigars,
well,
down
Chad,
Chicago.
since you're back in the house, let's give a little recap. I mean, the
Okay.
that first Friday, we did a little something on the anniversary of your boy's death.
Uh-huh.
Kevin Samuel just did something.
Right.
It popped up in the feed and people were talking about it. So I thought it was interesting to get it out there and see with people how they still remember the man, his message and his whole wave of the internet is still
Hmm.
alive and going and thriving today.
Yeah, it is. I mean, hey, the man spoke some hard truths that most folks don't want to hear.
Yeah, then you got so many copycats that popped up. It ain't even funny.
It's gonna continue to do that. You know,
Yeah.
everyone got to be prevalent and relevant and
Like
relevant.
you said, he told some hard truths and he had some serious conversations that, probably needed to be had. The same thing I mentioned. He might have chose his way of doing it, but hey, it is what it is. It was enjoyable while it lasted.
Right,
One thing I didn't appreciate is the
right.
people celebrating the man's death. That's just too much. That was just too much. You know,
You
but
know how it is.
the
People
outside,
internalize everything.
yeah, yeah, and then it was totally unnecessary. Then the biggest thing is here, his biggest supporters were women. So they calling and asking a question. He just answered.
Right.
He gave him some, like you said, he gave him some hard truths with those answers. But the other
Hmm.
the other thing that we really missed you on was the conversation me and Uncle Neely had dealing with the transfer portal.
Ooh,
And
transfer portal.
everything that came along with that. Plus, we went over what was going on in Colorado. Then we just talked about what the portal itself is and where we
Right.
see it's going. And just get some of your take on that, since I know you talked to several people about the portal.
Well, yeah, what was that? That came out of nowhere, didn't it? Man, the NIL, man, that part of it, I'm okay with that. You know, but as I saw on the podcast with you and Uncle Neely, it's about geographical uh areas and different spots you can do and grab these deals in because it's gonna be a little different in Colorado or Baton Rouge than it is in Jackson. But you got a guy that it might be, a D1 AA prospect or FCS prospect, maybe considered a two-star, but got a little buzz in his ear, then he might want to go to a Jackson State, or he might want to go to a
Yeah,
Jacksonville State. He might want to go to a Nickel State or Arkansas State. But if you got a guy who considered a five-star, you know, uh, you know, uh, a diamond in the rough type guy, then of course he has leeway because then we'll have film on to go to a Colorado or go to a LSU, go to a Tennessee or ACC school or whatever, or PWI, whatever, Power Five school. So as the old saying goes, sometimes our greatest gifts are our greatest curse.
yeah. One of the things we did touch on, you touched on there, is Colorado's a whole different animal. That team went 1-11 last year. They lost by an average of 29 points.
They got
Which
hate
is
a
which
lot.
was the worst statistical losing season in 100 years. I saw Joe Clapp talking about it like them losing by an average of 29 points. and that the one game that they didn't lose by 29, they lost by 8, but they were down by like 28, and they just came back a little bit in the first quarter as they put in
Right.
their the other team took out their starters and they
Right,
scored
right,
a
right.
few points. So I mean, but
Right.
the biggest thing that you touched on that I think is going to be really big is that uh, guys get a chance to get on the field by going other
Right.
places. Because the one thing I
Right.
mentioned to Neely was that hey, what you're going to get now is those 4 5-star guys when they go to those Power 5 schools and they don't get on the field, they got an opportunity. Coach, see,
What up, big coach? We say coach.
yeah, so you're gonna see those guys making a change to get back on the field, which like you said earlier, which could be a boost to HBCUs, could be a boost to you know 1AA schools and things like that, where you can get those guys out into your program.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something else too. I thought about even for the rule changes, what it gave a lot of, especially athletes of color, it gave them to have both experiences. You
Right.
know what? I'm gonna start off with the PWI. If I win a couple of national championships, I go to, you know, HBCU school and get that culture too. And people might be saying you might be robbing the store as they quote unquote say, but I mean, hey, that's what they want to do. Everyone has goals and aspirations. It might not fit yours. That's their business and not yours. You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, whatever these young men do, the main thing I hope they have good people in their ear giving them wise counsel
Yeah,
at the
I
end of the
said
day.
that too. Well, I'm gonna tell you one now. Here's an aspect on it that really touched on that I think what is going to be an interesting conversation in the future is what happens to these high school kids. Because like you mentioned, now what would you take if you got a kid coming out of high school that potential 5-star, 4-star, and you got a transfer coming in that can play for you immediately? That's gonna have some bearing on that.
That's a no-brainer because you know why? I'm gonna take that swag we call them crabs. I'm gonna take that freshman from a PWI or Power Five school who got experience and got film, who's ready to come in and play. That means that 9 times 10, I'm gonna take that high school guy. I'm out to teach him.
Right.
He has no game experience, so I'll take that guy just like JUCO. JUCO will probably end up being phased out for too long.
Well, yeah.
Because it's either I'm gonna take the high school kid, the transfer, or a guy that's a fifth year senior, you know what I'm saying, who can transfer, who's already graduated.
Right. Because like you just said, that freshman or sophomore in the transfer portal has already got the college experience. He's coming in already prepared than a freshman is. So they're so those, but you still got limited the scholarship. So one thing Neely brought up, he said that high school kids got to make sure they pay attention to is when they get these early offers in their junior year, they got to take them a little bit more serious because you mess around and wait till that senior year, and you know how coaches now, you know how it is now. You got to win now. You don't have like they used to have
Yeah.
today. They used to at least give you what 2 or 3 recruiting classes. Now they barely giving you that. So if I got to win now, and you see where Gaddy went to Missouri. So I mean, if I got a Chad Ford and I need some defensive line, offensive line help, and Chad Ford telling me he want to come play for me, and I take Chad or I got to take a high school player, there ain't no question what I'm gonna do because I gotta win today.
Right.
Tomorrow gonna be tomorrow.
Right.
So a lot of teams gonna have to come up with that balance.
Yeah, and see also too at the same time, the learning curve is gonna change. Cause guess what? That transfer can also go to a place that run almost the same system that they came out of, like the NFL. They're gonna probably find a system that's similar to what they played in, as when it comes to the terminology. So if that coach leaves, go to another school, he can transfer and follow that coach. Guess what? He already know the system.
Right. That's definitely right. It's just like Brian Kelly brought those guys in from LSU. I mean, he brought some guys from Notre Dame.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's gonna happen. Look what your boy did at Oklahoma. Took them guys from Oklahoma, took them out there to USC with him. And now here's a question. But with the advent of the transfer portal, you saw the success at LSU. You saw the success last year with Oklahoma, with USC. you start seeing all this quick success through the transfer portal, sort of success at Prime at Jackson State. So do that think administrations look at the transfer portal and look at their coaches like, hey, we should be winning faster now?
Well, that's a very good question, but here's the thing. It's all about the administrative mindsets because most administrators are gonna say that we're the gatekeepers for academics. They say they don't want to win, and I don't believe that. That's a lie. They do want to win.
Right.
But they're gonna say academics come first, and that's the right words to say. But some presidents probably will because guess what? They get rid of the head coach, they're gonna probably get rid of you too. And
Right.
you the one that approved the hire
Right.
along with the AD. So that's a very good point. I think it's a very poignant point. It's very plausible as well. But the question also is gonna be is we're gonna win now. How much are you willing to risk to win?
Mm.
Because if you win now, guess what? That means if kids got numbers, they're gonna opt out, go to the league early, you know what I'm saying, or transfer to another school. So what's the risk?
Well, one of the things we brought up is look what Kim Mulkey doing at LSU. She won a national championship in her second year. She got the top 2 transfers coming into LSU next year, and you still have your All-American sitting there. So you still got all that going on, and that's just building a monster. You build it quicker. If you that person, if you can
Right.
attract that kind of talent, you
Right.
can build it pretty quickly. So I mean, that's a conversation that we're gonna have a lot more on, and y'all can expect to see Uncle Neely back here again soon when he get back from Colorado to talk a little bit more about the upcoming season,
Right.
things going on like that.
Mwah. All right, we're good.
You want to let the people know a little bit about your travels and what you had going
Oh
on the last
man.
couple of weeks.
Oh, okay. A couple weeks ago, I went to Hattiesburg, made it to the Hall of Fame at Brofest. Fantastic time, humbling experience. This past weekend, went to Chicago. I had to go out of town in the morning, unfortunately, for a funeral. But that's 2 hours away, and I'll be back home tomorrow. Uh, don't forget about Soul City Smoke Fest coming up in June.
Right. Yeah.
I'll be
Couple
going
weeks
to the
away.
coast. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. About 4 weeks away.
Yeah.
I'll be going to the coast on May 27th for an event down there on the coast. All my brothers and sisters on the square, all my brothers and sisters in love. Hey, man, shout us out, call us up, come out and have a good time. I'll let you know when I get down there, rolling with some of the Good Brothers Committee in June. Supposed to go to Lake Charles, of course, host to the Smoke Fest. Go to Huntsville. Man, it's going to be a busy summer, and I'm going back to school. Our summer school start May 30th. And each time I just want to kick myself in the ass.
But that's gonna be a constant. Chad gonna be in school.
By the next 5 years.
Yeah, you gonna get another degree, another certification in something.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, man. That's a great thing. But as always, give us some comments down below. What do you think about, the recap? We had last week the death of Captain Samuels on May 5th. Talked a little bit about the transfer portal. And we got some other little things coming up. We're gonna do some other little specials and some other guests we got coming up. We got a couple of new female cigars.
Right. That's cool.
Spoke one last Friday. It's pretty good. We're gonna have her on. I don't know if y'all remember, but the Queen of the Hill has her cigar, the La Brua Negra. We'll have her going on more in depth about that cigar. And we're going to be running some specials. And Churchill do mail cigars out. You go to the website. You can log into the website, look at some of the selection, and we do mail cigars out to customers as they order online. So that's something else we do. But also keep in mind what Chad mentioned earlier, the Soul City Smoke Fest, which is June 15th through 18th?
June 15th through the 18th, Thursday through Sunday.
It's for African American cigar lovers around the state, around the country, around the Southeast. Come out and enjoy it. Be partly here. Downtown Cigars. Who else? Several other people that they'll be doing different events for throughout the city during that whole weekend. That'll be something great for everybody to come out and enjoy and should have a good time. And the Good Brothers will be there. So come out and have a smoke with us. And a cocktail, of course, because it's Friday.
It's Friday. And please remember to leave your comments down below. And if you have any suggestions and things you want to talk about, man, leave it down in the comments too. And as always, we appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And this has been another Good Brothers Community Podcast right here on the Hill. Friday night, this ladies' night. Church Hill Smoke Shop. We appreciate you as always. Peace.
Talk to you guys later.